You ready? My coach, Barbara H. Smith. Why did I hire her? Because she's the best.
Barbara H. Smith is a powerhouse. She just walks in the room and grabs your attention, and she does that in a way that just makes you feel loved and like she's paying attention to you. She cares about you, and she wants to see you be your best self.
She was able to dig inside and find the passion that was deep within me.
Barbara's energy is one of the reasons that I had to have her as my coach. I loved the way she is real with people.
The reason I felt like I needed a coach was because I have some big goals and I needed to build my confidence. I knew that Barbara could help me do that.
I felt that I could trust her.
I would definitely recommend to get coaching from Barbara H. Smith if you feel like you need to level up your confidence. She would just help you feel like bold, like you can take on the world.
She has really shown me who I am. She has changed my mindset to a place that I know that I am more powerful today than I would have ever been if I had never met Barbara Smith.
Deer in the headlights, look, she is live on Facebook today, live on IG today. Guess what? It's time for the Empowering You Show. Thank you for being here. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be back in the United States again and with the sensational, sassy Shani Smith.
Well, hello. I was like, wait a minute. Bring me up. I'm here.
Who is that woman on the other side of me on the right? That's Shani
Right.
Smith.
You got that.
She is the director of operations for BHS and Associates. Thank you, Shani, for holding things down when I was in Kenya week before last. So what do we have going on today, Miss Smith? The Smith and Smith Show.
The Smith and Smith Show, right? We have so much going on. I just want to say I am so glad that you're back.
Thank you.
Although I live vicariously through you when you're there, it's not the same because we're off on time. So I'm like, how late do I have to stay up to make sure I can actually talk to her? Can we correspond? And then there's always a delay. So I'm so happy that you were back. So happy to have you at my little finger.
Yes. And Kenya is 8 hours ahead of us. So right now it's 8:03 p.m. And one of the reasons why we changed the show from so late here, because it would be 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning. And we have a fan base on the continent of Africa. And so we wanted them to participate. I'm talking live as I'm here. So I'm going to shut the live down in a second because we are live and talk today about some empowerment. What are we talking about, Shani?
Well, we're going to talk about what it really means to talk the talk, to walk the walk. But what I want to know is when you figure out there's something that you want to do, right? How you determine that I'm going to do it no matter what and nothing's going to stop me. And then on top of that, what if you're the first one to do it?
Wow.
So now you have no clues. Now you have no plan per se. You don't know what to do. Now imagine that in 2022, if I wanted to know if I was the first to do something, I could do what? I could Google it, right?
Correct.
Well, what are we talking about 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 40 years ago even? How do you know if this can be done?
And why do we want to talk about history?
We want to talk about history because if we don't know our history, we are totally lost for the future.
That's right. And if we don't, we repeat historical things, and many of them not so good.
Not so good. Absolutely. So, we're not limited to just worrying about Black history in February. We need to know it every day. It should be Black 365, right? But I would love to know what it's like to be in a situation where we're not studying Black history, where we're just truly studying history.
Yeah.
That will not likely be in my lifetime.
Or mine.
Not even my daughter's lifetime.
Yeah.
But it's important that we know. And I wanted to start off with our first historical guest.
Yes. Let's.
Georgiana Rose Simpson. Now, she was born in Washington, D.C. We know what Chocolate City is like today, but she was born March 31st, 1865.
18 what?
1865.
Okay.
Now, imagine what life must be like for an African-American woman in 1865.
Wow. I know what life is like for an African American woman in 2022.
Imagine that she gets her training in school, right? Which is already, barriers as well. But imagine that she is teaching German immigrants.
What?
Imagine that. Now, history would like you to believe that, there was always somebody who had to teach us. Imagine that she learned what she needed to learn and then went on to teach German immigrants. Now, how does she do that?
Yeah.
Does she speak German? No. But she was that brilliant.
And
imagine
that brave.
that. And that brave.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens? What do you think might have happened for her after she taught them? Do you feel like there was the same level of respect? Or do you think she might have been treated like the help still?
Well, I don't think she was treated like the help among the people who she helped. But I would suspect that she was still no different or no better off by having commanded the German language and taught it to some people who were German. Am I right?
You are absolutely right.
Figures.
You're so smart like that. She went on to enroll in the University of Chicago in 1907. 1907. Wow. And gets a Bachelor of Arts degree in German in 1911. Now, she didn't know she was the first to do that.
She just knew it needed to be done.
She knew it needed to be done. She knew she wanted to do it, and her will to do it. She said, I'm going to do this, and nothing will stop me. All the odds were against her. She even went on to get a master's degree. A master's degree?
In German?
No, actually, her master's studies was actually in German as well, but she kind of got into some other things. For the most part, she could speak French as well.
It's funny you should say that part, because in Kenya, the students are taught Swahili in their own language, but they also taught English as a second language. Every single person can speak English as well as Swahili. What can we speak coming up in school from K through 12? What are we taught?
Typically Spanish. Every now and then there's French, but only to the degree that you can watch Dora.
In the K through 12?
In the K through 12, usually you get one language, right? But it's just a splash. So you can pretty much follow along with Dora the Explorer. That's about it. You can't have any conversation.
Well, I wasn't taught anything other than, I believe it was English. As the first
language. What do you think? English?
That's it. And until I went to college, I mean, 9th grade. Let me take that back. 9th grade was when I first took Spanish.
Right, but as an elective, it's not really. Yeah, you have to pass it. You need one language, but you don't really have to learn anything. You don't have to totally be conversational.
Yes.
And then here we are talking about in the 1800s, this Black woman in DC knows German enough to teach German immigrants.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's safe to say we know that she didn't learn that in school on her own. That was something that she picked up because she just had the will and the tenacity to do it. She doesn't know that she's the first.
Right.
She doesn't know what's really going on outside of Washington, D.C. Then when she goes from D.C. to Chicago, she doesn't know what's going on outside of that. She actually had to do some of her studies in the summer and through correspondence. So look at that. Really, she's like the first online student who's offline.
And the whole thing you just said was humongous. The will to do it. You have to have some want to get anything done. Some want to.
But how do you do that? When you're looking at, say, the news, when you're looking at social media, everything seems like either it seems like it's this dream over here or it's just impossible.
Doom and
How do
gloom.
you push through?
There's something inside you. There's something innate within you that gives you this, I'm here for this purpose. This is what I need to do. And it doesn't matter what the naysayers say. It doesn't matter if you don't have support. It doesn't matter. It just matters that you have a burning desire to do it. Even in the books that we read, Napoleon Hill's book, it tells you the first thing you have to have is a burning desire.
Mm-hmm.
So she had a burning desire to help these students in German, and that's what she did.
Now, do you think that she had any idea that somebody somewhere will be talking about her in 2022?
No, I don't think so. I don't think any of us who have a big goal thinks about what's going to be said after the fact. I really don't think so. I don't think Martin Luther King set out to do a boycott in Montgomery, Alabama, with the thought that 500 years from now, 50 years from now, 5 years from now, they're going to be talking about this. I don't really think that's how it works.
But now that we have the foresight to understand that that's how it can work,
yeah.
How do we push that on to, the next generation coming up? And say, like, the work that you do is not here, not just for you.
It's not for
this
you.
Legacy is not just for you and your immediate family. This is for somebody else to say, because you did, I can.
Yeah. You're standing on the shoulders of greatness. We're all at this moment in time standing on the shoulders of greatness, and we have to be those shoulders for other people.
Right.
We have to be that one that puts a line in the sand and says, I'm going to get this done. And here's why. Because I have a burning desire, a passion.
Ooh. But what if they don't like me?
And?
What if they don't want me to be there?
And
my car breaks down and I just can't make it. I don't have the internet. We come up with some of the smallest, crazy excuses. Now I have a flat tire, not going to be able to do it. Like, a flat tire? A flat tire? You have to do it. The world is literally waiting on you.
It is. The world is literally waiting. Literally waiting.
So how do we answer the call? What do we do?
If I
want to be the next Katanji?
Ooh, there's some big shoes to fill. However, it's been done, and success leaves clues.
Right.
And so you just look to someone who has done what you want to do, and you climb up. Here's the thing. Now there's nothing new under the sun.
Ooh, my grandma used to always say that.
We live in the greatest time in history where information is at our fingertips. And all we have to do is look it up. They didn't have that luxury, I want to call it, in 100 years ago, not even 50 years ago. But today, we have no excuse.
No.
None.
Well, we make more than ever, don't we? It's like we literally have these little computers in our hand.
Literally.
And some of us are dumber than we've ever been.
The phone is smarter than us, and that's why it's called the smartphone.
I mean, at this point, how many phone numbers do you even know?
None.
I know who's on speed dial. That is number 4. So to think that this woman had the foresight to be the first PhD?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Against all odds.
Yeah.
You're studying through correspondence because I'm going to do it no matter what. You don't want me. They made space for her in the dorms, and then the other students didn't want her there. So Correct. They put her out of the dorms.
Put her out.
She actually had to reach out to Frederick Douglass.
She could have said, I can't stay in the dorms. I can't go to school.
Yeah, because she was in Chicago. She's from DC.
Yeah.
There's no Airbnb. What is she supposed to do? But she just said, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it anyway. And here we are 200 years later talking about something that she did. And we have people where you have to try to convince them the importance of education.
Yes.
The importance of learning.
Speaking of the importance of education, I want to segue to my trip to Kenya and education.
Okay, please.
The people that we stood in front of are hungry for education, and you don't have to tell them to study, because in Kenya, when you start school in kindergarten through 12, they pay for the education, they pay for school supplies, they pay for uniforms, they pay for everything. And one of my mentors told me, when you pay attention. Right. Here in the States, our education system is free unless you go to private school.
Right.
And so our students typically are not really that studious on part of them. And so when you are as hungry as they are for information, and when you have the want to inside of you, miraculous things can happen. And so I'm super excited to always go and impart more information, because it brings them up.
Now, you've been there 4 times now. 4 times. Each time, for a long enough time that you get to really immerse yourself into the culture.
Yeah.
And I'm sure each time you're seeing different things, you're learning different things. What would you say the difference in the gratitude is for someone there? Like here, we can't pay a bill and we fall apart. When you see someone who you think just white, or you even smiling because you have nothing,
right?
But we don't even understand they have it all, because they have it all here in their minds and their hearts. Can you speak to the level of gratitude that you see there versus all the things that we take for granted here, all the things that make us unravel here that are dropped in a bucket in other countries?
Gratitude. They are so gracious and grateful for everything. They're gracious and grateful for the fact that we come to their country. So when you say what's the difference in the level of gratitude, we visited a Maasai village. I was going to say Maasai Mara. Our Maasai Mara, which is a whole bunch of land. I can't remember how many millions of acres it is, but in any event,
billions, you said.
Yeah,
billions of acres. Okay.
Before it was taken over by colonialists, they've segregated some of the land now on purpose as a reserve for people to see the animals and whatever have you. But we visited one of their villages, and I kid you not, the office space in my home is 3 times as big as this one villager's home. 3 times as big. And in that home, the mother and father and child had sleeping spaces. They cooked in the middle of the floor with no running water. And you want to talk about gracious. They were inviting us into this home, and you had to bend over because the way that it's built. And I'm a little bit size challenged, so I had to turn sideways to get in.
I like that little cute spin on that.
So we get in there, and he is just proud of his space. And the whole while I'm sitting here thinking, there's no lights in here. There's no water in here. And we this is our kitchen, and we eat here, and we're so grateful that you came to visit our home. And I'm thinking to myself, and you're complaining that you need another house. I'm thinking to myself. And they were so grateful, gracious hosts to have us there in their village. And I kept thinking to myself, people back home would not believe this. And complaining, we complain about everything when they in this village. Now that the whole continent is not like this, so don't get this twisted. This
Right.
was the village. This was out in the outskirts. The city is the city, just like any other city, just like Chicago. As a matter of fact, Nairobi, I believe, is bigger than Chicago. Just like New York. I mean, tall buildings, Oracle, HP, Microsoft, companies, all there, Volvo, all there in Nairobi City. But in the village where life is simple and they eat from the earth, nothing's preserved, nothing's left over as far as frozen and then thawed for them to eat. They kill what they eat. They eat what they kill. They eat what they kill.
Thank you for cleaning that up.
And the cows, we were standing there during a ceremony called the naming ceremony. And all of a sudden, we're enclosed in this fenced in area, and the cows start walking in like in single file and 3 by 3 and 4 by 4. And they just looked at us like, you're in our space. And it gave a whole new meaning to until the cows come home. Because they wander wherever they wander, and then they know to come back to this compound, which was amazing. But to answer your question, the gratefulness, the gratitude, the graciousness, the love, the less stress.
Right.
Because they don't stress over things. It was, and it always is. It's always so refreshing to just release all of the cares of the day, the moment, the hour, the week when we get there. And I have very sporadic communications back home, not because I don't want to communicate, but because their infrastructure, let's face it, Kenya is a 51-year-old country.
Okay.
This country's 400 years. I mean, we've learned some things over those 400 years, and they still are learning. And so their infrastructure is not like our infrastructure. So I had no internet or Wi-Fi or a couple of things that we take as for granted when I was there. And it was super cool to be disconnected from all of the media and all of the social media. So that's a long answer to your question, but yeah, I love going to Kenya.
I mean, we fall apart when the speed is slow, right? And
Listen,
you're talking about none.
None. Zero.
Now, I thought it was interesting that you said how grateful they are when you come to visit, when people come to visit, and the attitudes that we have here in America when people come here. It is almost quite obvious, quite the opposite, actually. It's what are you doing here? Yeah. Look at these tourists. You don't. There's no graciousness, no thankfulness that
very
they're
little.
there.
Yeah. And oh, by the way, the narrative that's coming across what we call the pond, the narrative going out to Kenya is that we don't want to come there. African Americans they welcome us, but we don't want to go there. And so one of the students of business, he's not a student, he's a grown man, he has a business, small, medium enterprises. We did a whole event on that. One of the things that he said is, do they still have that narrative? I said, what narrative is that? He said that we're walking around in loincloths and swinging from trees. I said, yeah, a lot of people still have that narrative. He goes, you gotta be kidding me. Intelligent, educated business people were asking me that question because they don't see a lot of African American tourists or people coming to Kenya. But that's about to change because the narrative is changing as we take more and more people there to see what it's really like. I have some family members who are like, aren't you scared over there? Scared? What would I be afraid of?
Right.
Everyone looks like me. They're grateful that I'm there. We have security if we show need, which we haven't needed, but we have it anyway. I would not suggest you going to Kenya or any foreign land alone or without someone on boots on the ground to that knows the terrain and the areas or whatever. But I also would not suggest anyone from outside of the United States coming to the United States without knowing anything about the United States.
Exactly. There is definitely places where I'd say, you know what, in Chicago, Magnificent Mile, fine. Cabrini Green area, no. You know, so we have this idea that we don't have poverty here, that we don't have slums here, that we don't have people outside hungry and not knowing what's going on.
Right. And Shani, some of the narrative going that way is that as soon as they hit the ground of the United States, they're going to immediately be rich.
Right.
Yeah, somebody better tell them that there's so much rage going across the United States right now. And yeah, there's way less of that going on in Africa. Like, you don't hear about or see any news about mass shootings in schools. It's just unheard of. I mean, I even, for the time that I was there, 2 weeks, I heard one ambulance, one siren, one police car, one in 2 weeks. I don't know what city you live in, but the city I live in, there's sirens every single day, 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 times a day. Somewhere. You can hear them.
Right. Or you know about it.
Or you see it on the news.
Right.
And so to be afraid, I'm not that one. We have, like I said, we have an entourage. We have people around us. We have drivers who double as CIA agents, you know? And so we're treated like celebrities. And so when you say, are you afraid?
Right.
I'm afraid in America that somebody's going to kill me while being Black. Let's just put it out there.
For being Black.
Yeah. I'm afraid in America. I don't have that kind of fear, that DNA kind of fear, that post-traumatic stress syndrome.
That's what I was going to say, the PTSD.
Kind of fear that we have lived with for hundreds of years.
Exactly. I
don't have that kind of fear when I'm in Africa.
I mean, it's a joke in the Black communities all the time, but it's real when you say, well, who all's going to be there? Because I don't want to be that one. I don't want everyone looking at me. You know, what the work that you're doing here, but the work that you're doing in Africa is so critical. Now that we kind of talked about it a little bit, now do you understand the impact? Do you understand that the lives that you touch when you go to Kenya, their great grandchildren be talking about the work that Barbara H. Smith did for me? Do you understand that?
I guess I understand it now because of some of the research that we've done together, Shani, but I guess I never really thought about that. The one thing that I was thinking more than anything is leaving a legacy for my children and their children. You know, I just, my vision is nearsighted.
Right. I think we all suffer from that.
Yeah, it's nearsighted. It's about, what can I leave for my children to stand on my shoulders? What can I leave for their children to stand on my shoulders? What can I leave for maybe their children's children's children to stand on my shoulders? But beyond that, I really, until you said that this minute, I really never thought about the ripple effect of an impact that we're making when we go to Kenya. Exactly. Thank you, Dr. West, for that.
Listen, and you're part of so many stories now.
Wow.
Everybody that has that story talks about this one teacher, this one speech, this one person, coworker, this one somebody to turn things around for them. Wow. You're that one.
Wow. Well, to God be the glory. There's nothing that inside of me that wasn't given to me as a gift. And so I understand the assignment that I'm here to serve others, and that what I do, let the work I do speak for me. I don't have to talk about the lives that are being changed. I want to see, and I hope others see, the value in what is happening in other people's lives as a result of being connected with me.
Well, believe it or not, we are at the top of the hour.
I cannot believe this.
We're going to go back for a break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about another amazing woman.
Pioneer. Yeah.
So we'll be right back.
We'll be back. Don't go away.
Labs to Go is your vaccination destination for students, teachers, nurses, or anyone wanting to get first-time, seasonal, and booster immunizations. We also offer titers to ensure you're immune to vaccine. At Labs to Go, there are no doctor orders or insurance needed. We can come to you because we are Labs to Go.
Get your vaccination at our office, or we can come to your business, school, or even go to your home. When you need to know, call Labs to Go.
I am a child of the Most High God. He has gifted me in ways that I could not even imagine and didn't know.
There was a time when I didn't know who I was. I listened to other people tell me who I should be, what I should do. I listened to people telling me that I should be a boutique owner, that I should be a construction manager, that I should be a laborer. Have you ever felt like you should do something else, be something else, go somewhere else, be wherever you wanted to be, and you felt like you were in a box? Anybody in the room? And you couldn't get out. Anybody in the room? And you kept trying to go and you couldn't get out. Anybody in the room? But let me tell you, you need to rock the box. Rock the box.
I am engaging, inspiring, and empowering. I would give you everything I know. Just by touching you, if I could, by osmosis, give you every single thing I've learned, I've gone through, I know I would. We know that's not possible, but as it is possible, I love to share information with people.
Some of you out there, people have told you that you can't be, you can't have, you can't do. But I will tell you, like Kinston said, you can, you must, and you will. If it's to be, it's going to be me. You got to say it. If it's to be, it's going to be. If it's to be, it's going to be. If it's to be, it's going to be.
Barbara is because she believed what her mama said about her and not what other people told her.
Every day you wake up, when you're in a situation, it's your choice whether it's an advantage or the disadvantage.
She gained her confidence and her life, and now she is a testimony.
If I can help you elevate yourself, then I feel like I'm elevating my own self as well. What you know and I know together can change the world.
You know, just rock the box.
That
video makes me want to be immersed in it every time.
That last line, what you know and I know together can change the world, just really, for the first time, brought tears to my eyes because of what you said right before the break. And it is profoundly emotional for me to realize that I am changing lives based on what they say after the event is over. Mm-hmm. And Dr. West always asks, what's your takeaway? Key Bird, his auntie, that is a sensational host, asked the question, what do you take away? And you know they're listening because they give right back to you what they learned and what they're going to use. And there's so many stories of the times that we come back and their lives have changed, and they tell us. what they've done.
Now that part.
Yeah, what they've done. And knowing that this upcoming event, the IBCS, International Business Connection Summit that we just did, is connecting small, medium enterprises to Kenyan enterprises to U.S. enterprises, so that we can learn from each other how to do international business. For them, international business would be with us, and for us with them.
Right.
And so it's very exciting that they've already 34 of them have already signed up to take the classes that we're going to conduct across the pond. Now, here's a fact that we're going to talk about the next lady in 1 second. Here's a fact I want you to consider. Think about the fact that there are 450 million youth. The youth category, according to sustainability studies, is 18-year-olds to 35-year-olds. That's considered youth in Kenya. So between 18 years old and 35-year-old, there are 450 million of them.
Wow.
If you know how many millions of people are in the United States of America, I need you to drop that number in the chat, because it's well over 450 million is well over the total population in the United States. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I know what it is. I'm not going to tell you what it is. If you're watching this on replay and you know the answer, Google is your friend. You know the answer, drop that number. 450 million youth, 18 to 35. Now, just for a moment, if 100 million of them, those youth, buy a $10 a month product from moi, do the math. Why am I stressing over the market saturation in the United States? I'm just saying. I digressed for a second. I got emotional, digressed, and forgot what the heck I was supposed to be doing.
No, you were transparent. And those are those moments that we need to think about. Like, we should be living our life as if it was our last, as if the things that we do can be said in our obituary, right?
Yeah.
So that your dash is so meaningful. So I'm so glad that you made the connection. I made the connection too when I started reading about Georgiana. Like, wait, I wonder if she had any idea.
No idea.
What kind of impact this would be 200 years later.
200 years.
Nearly 200 years later.
Yeah.
But, it wasn't for that.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't for that. But that is what is happening.
Yeah. So exciting. So our next guest, posthumously, is a phenomenal person. When Arizona writer and historian Peter Alashire introduced this woman in his book, Warrior Woman, he said this: the stories of Geronimo, Crazy Horse, and Custer pale in comparison beside this warrior. One who fought relentlessly, successfully, and against all odds, continuously, forget this, 40 years. But you never, probably, ever heard of her.
Of course not.
She's the sister of Chief Victorio, and he called her his right hand. And she went along with him in exile with Geronimo as the last free Apaches. Lozen is her name. She was called America's greatest guerrilla fighter. She was a prophet, a skilled warrior, a healer, a midwife, and many thought she had psychic powers. Like all Apache children, she was trained in the skills of survival. She was born early 1830s, and at one point she lived on the San Carlos Reservation, but it was impossible. In 1877, she joined her brother in leading 300 warriors, women and children, back to their home in Ojo Caliente in New Mexico. But of course, they weren't allowed to stay on their native land. And when the army tried to force them back, it was the last straw that led to the brutal, bloody Apache wars. After her brother's death, she was away with Victorio and was killed, and many believe she would have been spared if she had been in the camp. She joined Geronimo's last stand for freedom, and in the end, she was deported with Geronimo to the swampy prisoner camp in Florida. The only picture that we have of her is sitting on the side of the railroad tracks when they took them into exile. And it is believed that she died in Alabama in 1889. Today, her courage and grit are celebrated as one of the West's most amazing women. Her name is Lozen. Whoo! Sister Friend was not going out without a fight.
She wasn't going out without a fight. She didn't have all the conveniences that we have of today.
None.
And we talk about we wear so many hats. Wait, what? Warrior isn't one of mine. Okay. I'm the last person to want to do that. Like, don't touch me. I'm sorry. What you want me to do? She was fighting in anyway. She was fighting.
Yeah, fighting like Geronimo. Like we've heard of Geronimo.
We've heard
of Custer's Last Stand, but we never heard of Lozen. Why do you think that is?
Because her story is so phenomenal. It may encourage other people to do the same, right? That's the kind of history they don't want to repeat itself.
Correct. That and the fact that she was a woman.
Absolutely.
And we have to empower women to be all they can be and be the best of all they can be. Which brings us to our next conversation. We have an event coming up, Shani, that is going to empower women. It is going to pull back all of those hurts and scabs and scores so that they can rise up and go back to their tribes, refreshed, rejuvenated, and renewed. We're talking about the Sisters Empower Sisters to Advance event coming up October the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Now, in this event, I'm going to let Shani tell you some of the incredible training that we're going to have.
We have the empowerment duo, okay?
Yeah.
I had no idea some of the techniques that Brian K. McNeil and Lisa Santiago McNeil even thought of.
Yeah.
And I like to say I'm in my 20s. It's not really true, but I like to say that. So I've been around for a little bit. Never even thought about some of the techniques that they have. It will knock your socks off. It's practically foolproof. It is, really, to be honest with you. Then we have Holly B. Partners with branding. Not even just branding, because she also is going to have you looking fabulous. Because so many times you come across businesses that you don't have a headshot. No, I don't care how advanced your iPhone is, what Galaxy you have.
Oh, yeah.
You need professional shots.
Yes.
So that's something we're going to get. We're talking about hair, makeup, wardrobe, headshot. Okay, ladies? Not just one of these views, okay? Full on. We're talking about learning how to just breathe.
Yeah.
With Eliza Carter. We're talking about how to effectively communicate and get your point across. Know how to introduce yourself. Know how to hold your own in a room by none other than celebrity speaker trainer Barbara H. Smith. And all this is going to take place ocean front. I'm not talking about walk across the street. I'm not talking about catch the trolley. I'm talking about go downstairs to the lobby. The beach is right there.
Yes.
All your rooms have a view. They are all king suites with a view, king rooms rather. And we've taken care of meals. We've even taken care of parking. All of that. As the young kids say, FOMO, fear of missing out. Don't be that one. Don't be that one. The link is below, bit.ly/sisters empower, capital S and capital E, to get all the information. You can also reach out to me at support@barbarahsmith.com and I'll fill you in as well. Don't be that one, because this is so exclusive.
Yeah.
That there's only going to be 20 ladies. And the reason why there's only going to be 20 ladies is because we want to influence the influencers. If that's you,
Don't
Reach out.
miss this event.
Don't miss
I'm
it.
telling you, Brian K. McNeil alone is worth this investment. There's
Alone.
only 18 seats left, and that's just pending after the conversations I had yesterday.
Right.
So we're 2 months out. We might as well cancel July. It's done.
It's done.
Yeah. So August, September, that's it. And I want to go back to Brian K. McNeil. I'm going to give just a small tidbit of what I've learned. He has coached both myself and Shani, which is how he got to be the headliner for the Sisters Empower Sisters to Advance.
Because he is that good.
He is beyond that good.
He is that good.
When it comes to
and
sales,
with a great personality to
yes, when it comes to sales and confidence, here's what I learned. People do presentations. This was me. I do presentations and I'm pretty good at it. But at the end, I never asked for the sale. Mm-hmm. I just thought I did a good job. They'll say, yeah, so you did a good job on the presentation. Let me buy that. Wrong answer. I thought being in relationship with people who know how great the presentation was, this relationship would lend them to buy from me. Wrong. What Brian taught is that there are 5 reasons and 5 reasons alone that people will buy from you. I am not going to tell you what they are. 5 reasons and only 5 reasons. So if you think, as I did, that they were going to buy my product, my coaching, my training, because I'm a nice person, most of the time, I'm a articulate person, then wrong answer. If you don't ask, and if you don't know how to ask, and if you don't know why they buy, you will never make the sale. So just learning from this master of sales to have the confidence, and now I'm killing it in sales because of Brian K. McNeil. And I've heard some techniques over the years. I've been to all kinds of sales training over the years. I have never heard the techniques and skill set used by Brian K. McNeil and his lovely bride, Lisa Santiago McNeil, ever before.
It's like the light bulb went off, like, okay, duh, that's what makes me buy. Yeah.
Yeah. But no one's putting in a format that this is what you need to do and this is why you need to do it.
Exactly. So.
This is what you need to do. And this is why people buy from you. The psychology of sales. See, because long over for having the non-savvy buyer. People can look up whatever they want.
Exactly.
And that takes me back to the photo shoot. What is the first thing people are going to do when you offer your product or service?
Check you out.
And
the minute I see a selfie, we're probably done.
People want, you cannot have a price line, a price point of Excalibur or Mercedes or Bentley and your photos look like a Yugo.
Well, now, for the people who don't know what that is.
Oh, or photos that look like a bicycle.
Okay. A go-kart.
A whole go-kart.
For the people out back in the say, what did she say now? You go.
A Pinto. You don't know what a Yugo is? What about a Pinto?
Next thing you know, she's going to be talking about cassette players. What's she talking about?
You cannot have the sound system you want.
Right.
If you using a cassette player.
Right. You can't be recording from the radio and expect it to sound like it came off a post. It doesn't work like that.
It does not, and so is with your pictures and your advertising. The next thing, you didn't tell them all. I'm glad, but they need to know that they're going to get a spot treatment.
Well, I didn't tell them everything because I want them to come out and let's find out.
There's more stuff. There's more stuff. And there's even so much stuff. There's stuff that you don't even know about that we're doing.
Exactly. Now, this is for ladies. Yes, so all you men out there, you can send your special lady, or you can also going to be a sponsor. Yes. We actually saw one of our sponsors right at the break, actually, Labs to Go. That was one of them. But you want to sponsor something like this. You want to be the pioneer. You want to be one of the first. Because we just talked about how the fact that the first might not know what that means. But years down the line, you've impacted more people than you could ever even imagine, right? You want to be one of the first. So, let me tell you about some of our fantabulous sponsors. Clearly, we're going to have the empowerment duo themselves, Brian K. McNeil and Lisa Santiago McNeil are our sponsors. Yep. We also have Can Do Spice. I happen to know the CEO. It's me. We have All About Events. Yeah. That woman there, Ella House. I'm just telling you. Okay. Best Bald Shave with Ron Wilson. Baby. Another powerhouse. And his products, like butter. It's like butter. I'm just saying. So thank you again to Cherie Owens of Labs to Go for your sponsorship. Spill It. This is one of the funniest card games yet, where you finally get to know each other, with Kristen Eglin and her other friends, that they came together and put this together, and it is a must-have. Dr. Calvin White, the Charles Atwater Group, Soulful Journey, Tasty Chef, because we're going to be eating good. Did we tell you you're going to be eating good? Yes, you're going to be eating good. And also, Michelle Pippin of Women Who Wow are going to be another one of our fabulous sponsors. Do you want to be added to that list? Contact me at support@barbarahsmith.com. Sponsorship comes with so many perks.
Yeah.
I'll tell you more.
And why are we sponsoring? Why are we reaching out to sponsors to help us with our give? We are giving back to the community with our sponsorships. Who are we giving back to and why?
The Natasha House is something very near and dear and so needed. When the woman, the mother, is nurtured and she's able to nurture, the world is a better place.
Yeah.
And so what they do, they help women who are homeless and in transition get back on their feet so that they can do that with pride. They can be proud of what they're doing. So that's one of, look, I don't want to start leaking here. Hold on. That's one of those things where people don't understand that you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yes.
You can't pour from an empty cup. I would love to make sure you stay on so that you can see just a little bit of what they do. I mean, this poem,
Yes, the wonderful work that Natasha House is doing. As a matter of fact, a really brief, small history. I used to be on the board of directors for Natasha House, and their motto is a bridge to wholeness. That's what explains the bridges behind both Shani and I. A bridge to wholeness. So I began looking for a bridge because at one point in my life, I was homeless with my children, and there was no Natasha House. And so now that I'm able to give back to them, 10% of our proceeds will go to Natasha House. And we want you to know that every dollar, this is grassroots. This is not going to a huge corporation and then maybe going to Natasha House. This is going directly to Natasha House. I know the executive director, and we will be depositing that check for them at the end of the event. So please, we are inviting you to be a sponsor for the Sisters Empower Sisters. Again, Shani said it best when she said, men, you're not included this time in this way, but you can be included by taking your special lady and saying, I want you to go to this. This is going to be a wonderful experience. Exactly. I promise you, when you leave Sisters Empower Sisters to Advance, baby, they're going to be talking about this for decades to come.
More than decades. I beg to differ.
And so we want to thank you so much for your attention, your participation, your sponsorship in advance. We know that it's going to be sold out. We know that it's going to be a fabulous event because it's all ordained by that one who sits high and looks low. And we appreciate you for being part of it. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thank you, Shani Smith, for being the best director of operations ever anyone could have, and continuing on this journey, as difficult as it can be sometimes, with me and the BHS associates. We appreciate you. Shani, your last outtakes.
What I really want to say is I've been kind of like my theme for the week. That's something new that I've been doing now for myself, a theme for the week. And it is just to be unapologetic about the things that you want to get done. And everything that you decide is something you want to get done is a non-negotiable. No longer put aside the things that, because especially as women, we tend to do that. We tend to come up with this must-have list for ourselves. And then as soon as a need for somebody else comes up, we push something of ours aside. Our stuff has to be non-negotiable. You can't pour from an empty cup. Sometimes the refresher needs some refreshing.
Woo!
I'm not talking about going and get your pedi. I'm talking about going to get a manicure. I'm talking about the time that you have to just kind of sit, be calm, and listen to really refuel. We have to be non-negotiable with that.
Yeah.
That's my word for the week. It's non-negotiable.
Pouring in.
I don't care if it's 10 minutes. This is my 10. If you have to start use this here $1,000 phone to say, I'm going to make the timer for 10 minutes and say for 10 minutes, this is me. You have to do it. We have to get disciplined to do that. How about you?
Well, that's our time. I want Shani, hang out with me for a minute after the show. Real quick, I have some things I want to pour into you. And we're going to look at the Tasha House right after the show. So stay tuned for the ad for the Tasha House. It's not an ad. It's actually informational, an informational video from the Tasha House. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being an empowering person, Shani Smith, and empowering you on the Empowering You Show. See you next week.
Thank you, Georgiana and Lozen, for pushing through.
Yes.
Thank you, Barbara, for pushing through.
You got it.
So you know what time it is.
Yes, it's time for you and you and you and you to step into your greatness because the world is waiting for you. Have a great afternoon.
Bye-bye for now.
It is a gem tucked away near a forest, a place where the lost are found. It is a gift of wholeness for those who are ready to receive it. A secret place where peace can be found in stillness. Where you can finally stop fighting to survive and just breathe. Just breathe. Where accountability corrects and the word help is not a cuss word. It is the place that was thought of before you ever thought you needed it. It is where forgiveness starts and healing begins. Well, we are taught that when we put our hands to work, we can create some things. As we uprooted the weeds in the garden, it was a reflection of our lives. As we uprooted disappointment, as we uprooted pain, as we uprooted being traumatized. Because God doesn't deal with the surface. He gets to the root of it. We laughed. We shared tears. We shared our stories. We shared our fears, our dreams, our visions, our heart. We were more than just mothers. We were broken women trying to figure out how to become whole again. It became a place where homelessness became hopeless until we reached the bridge of wholeness.
Engage, inspire, empower. That's what I help you do as a celebrity, speaker, trainer, and coach. Hi, I'm Barbara H. Smith, known as the Masterful Presenter. I am the one that can help you dig deep inside your passions and deep inside your life to get you to the place you always dreamed.
I had the pleasure of hearing Miss Barbara Holmes Smith speak today, and just from her speaking to me today, I have realized that I need to have personalized my alter ego and be able to put myself out there a lot more.
I help through speaking techniques, teaching you how to use your words and your body language to inspire people to come up higher.
Today's presentation with Ms. Barbara was just outstanding. She has really helped me with her personality, with her being so genuine and passionate about what she believes in and helping to coach, train. Her sense of humor, her energy is just incredible.
How do I do that? By coaching and speaking and training. I help you with whatever it is that you want to do next. What is your next? Are you ready to take your life, your career to the next level? I can get you there. Contact me at www.barbarahsmith.com.